Welcome back, everyone, to the Two Guys in a Cooler channel. Don't you love it when your salami chamber is full of product? Well, sometimes it isn't. And in this series, we're exploring creative ways to use your salami chamber when it is empty and sad and waiting for something to be put in it. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be dry aging some beef 45 days in our salami chamber. Let's make it happen. All right, the first thing we want to do is we want to sanitize our salami chamber. We've got, different molds and bacteria growing in there. And what I want to do is I want to start off with a tabula rasa. So I'm going to use a little iodophor, put it in some water, and then all we're going to do is spray down our chamber with it, let it sit for a couple of minutes, and then just wipe down any excess moisture. We're going to be using some 100% grass-fed bone-in ribeye roasts, and all I did was wash it down, pat it dry, and then tie it up. We're going to hang this in our salami chamber. And what's really cool is that our salami chamber is already kind of built for dry aging meat. You can control the humidity, you can control the temperature, and as long as you can get your salami chamber into the 30s, like 35, 36 degrees, you're in business. So all I have is a humidifier, a dehumidifier. There's my 2 bone-in ribeye roasts, and then right above that, I'm going to have my humidity controller, my temperature controller, and then I've got a computer fan on top of everything, and that's going to allow for proper airflow and ventilation. After about a week of hanging in the chamber, I decided I wanted to make sake because it takes like 3 months to make. And so I went ahead and transferred everything over to chamber number 2. So I had to clean it. I had to kind of reinstall the fan that I originally dismantled so I can get proper airflow. And then I hung my meat in chamber number 2, and that's what this is going to look like. So back to cleaning it, sanitizing it, putting everything back together, and now I'm going to hang it in this chamber and allow it to hang there for the duration of the period. And then, all of a sudden, I decided I wanted to make lacto-fermented pickles, and I have these huge bins that really only fit in chamber number 2. So I made chamber number 3 available, and now we're going to be dry aging in chamber number 3. And as you can see, what I did was I kind of blocked off the window right there at the front door, so that every time I open it to check on the meat and the humidity and all that stuff, I don't affect the conditions inside. So with sake brewing in chamber number 1, lacto-fermented pickles in chamber number 2, chamber number 3 looks like this. We have a humidifier, a dehumidifier, and then we have our bone-in ribeye roast hanging with the computer fan directly on top of them. The humidity is about 76%, the temperature's about 35 degrees Fahrenheit, and 45 days have now passed, and this is what our meat looks like. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to start to remove the feather bones, remove some of the knuckle bones, and then clean up the dry-aged meat ready for packaging. It smells absolutely wonderful. There's a nutty, interestingly cheesy smell. It's not too funky, but it's very distinctive to that dry-aged smell. I ended up with about 12 ribeye steaks, vacuum sealed them, put them in the freezer because I've got some serious plans later for these steaks. Trust. All we're going to do is season it with some salt and pepper. I want the flavor of the meat to shine. We're going to sous vide at 130 for 2 hours, pat it dry, pop them on a cast iron skillet. The meat here is incredibly tough, so I'm curious as to whether or not the aging process actually tenderized it. Let's see. All right, time for the big moment. I'm really pumped up. They smell amazing. We're going to cut into these beautiful steaks and just give it a little taste. And with very little marbling. Now, you saw 100% grass-fed. There's no finishing on this particular steak. I gotta be completely honest. Dry aging these steaks really tenderized them. I mean, it's incredible. It's almost like a completely different cut of meat. Not only are they super tender, but they're super juicy, super flavorful. That dry-aged flavor comes through just ever so subtly, elevating it. And that's how we dry-aged beef. 45 days in our salami chamber. Take your subprimals, put them in there for 21 days, 45 days, or heck, even longer. have you a heck of a steak. Thanks for watching. If you're new, sub, like, comment, share. We'll see you next week.